morning, dear students. This is your Sudha ma'am. Welcome to the fifth part of the lesson 4, that is excretion, the wastage disposing system. In our last class, we studied about composition of urine, dialysis and kidney transplantation. In this session, we are studying about excretion and release of substances in plants. First of all, let's study how excretion takes place in plants. Do plants excrete like animals? Do they have any specific organs to excrete their waste material? Yes, plants also excrete their metabolic wastes, but they do not have any specific organs to excrete. Like animals possess kidneys, lungs, skin, like that some excretory organs are there in animals, but plants do not possess any specific organs to excrete. And moreover, plants break down waste substances at much slower rate than in animals. Their metabolic activities takes place at, when compared to animals, they are very slower. Hence, accumulation of waste is also takes place at slower rate when compared to animals. So, let us discuss what are the wastes formed in the plants and how do they excrete. First and foremost, CO2 is a respiratory waste. Like animals, plants also utilize oxygen during respiration. They utilize oxygen and they release carbon dioxide as a respiratory waste. During the daytime, this carbon dioxide is used in the process of photosynthesis. But during night time and the plants which do not possess chlorophyll, non-green plants, they produce carbon dioxide as respiratory waste. And oxygen is the byproduct or waste product in the process of photosynthesis. These two gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide, are released out through the stomata of the leaves and lenticels on the stems. Through the stomata and lenticels, these two gases are released out. Plants get rid of excess water by the processes called transpiration and guttation. Transpiration is the process in which the plants release water in the form of vapor through the stomata of the leaves, whereas they release water drops by the edges of the leaves of some plants like grasses. This process is called guttation. So, the release of water in the form of droplets by the edges of leaves of plants is called guttation. Plants store wastes in their leaves, bark and fruits. When these dead leaves, bark and ripe fruits fall off from the tree, the waste products in them are get rid of from the plant. Wastes are stored in the fruits in the form of solid bodies called rhophites. Rhophites are needle-shaped crystals of calcium oxalate, and these are stored in the fruits, and example is pineapple. And roots also can secrete some peculiar secretions back into the soil. We know that root absorb water and minerals, but at the same time they release some peculiar secretions back into waste materials back into the soil. In this way, the leaves, bark, fruits and even the roots also help in the excretion of plants. Plants synthesize some chemicals and store them in their roots, leaves, seeds, etc. for the protection against herbivores. Most of these chemicals are unpleasant to taste, so herbivores do not prefer to eat such plants. Some chemicals are toxic and they may kill the animal that eats them. In that way also some animals do not prefer to eat some plants because of the smell they won't like, and the chemicals are toxic and they may kill them. So they won't prefer to eat such plants. Some plants secrete chemicals when injured. These chemicals seal the wound and help the plant to recover from the injury. That is self repair. They secrete some chemical when it is injured, when the plant gets injured. These chemicals seal the wound and help the plant to recover from the injury. Some plants release attractants to attract the other organisms for pollination or for seed dispersal, or even in their nutrition. They release some attractants to attract the other organisms. For example, Rhizobium bacteria, the root nodules of leguminous plants, they secrete some chemicals to attract the rhizobium bacteria. Hence, they form the symbiotic relationship which is beneficial for both. Here, rhizobium is helpful in the nitrogen fixation, and at the same time the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. So, in this way symbiotic association is taken place in between the leguminous plants and rhizobium bacteria. So, they release some attractant, that chemicals, to attract the bacterium. The biochemical substances produced in plants are of two types, that is primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. So, these are the biochemical substances which are produced by plants. The materials which are required for growth and development of plants are called primary metabolites. Example, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, they involve in the growth and development of the plant, hence called primary metabolites. Whereas the materials which do not required for the normal growth and development of the plant are called secondary metabolites. These are not involved in the growth and development of the plant, but they have their own uses. Let us see what are the examples of secondary metabolites. Alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums and latex. These are few examples of secondary metabolites. These plants, though plants secrete these chemicals for their own benefit, for their own uses, but humans found the uses of these chemicals for their own benefit. Actually, plants secrete these chemicals for their own uses, but what human beings we are doing, we found the usage of these chemicals for our own benefit. Let us discuss the secondary metabolites one by one. Alkaloids. These are nitrogenous byproducts and these are poisonous. These are nitrogenous byproducts and poisonous. These are stored in different parts of plants like bark, leaves, fruits, roots, seeds or flowers, etc. These are stored in different plants, in different plant parts these are stored. And the common alkaloids in plants and their usages, let us discuss. And quinine is the alkaloid which we will get from the cinchona plant, and the scientific name of the cinchona is Cinchona officinalis. And the part which contain this alkaloid is bark. The bark of this plant contain alkaloid called quinine, and it is used as anti-malarial drug. For the treatment of malarial fever, we use this quinine. Next comes nicotine. Nicotine is found in the leaves of the Nicotiana tabacum, tobacco plant. Simply we will call it as tobacco plant, Nicotiana tabacum, and it uses as insecticide. Nicotiana tabacum, tobacco plants, which is this leaf is used in the preparation of BDs and cigarettes. But we should not, people should not consume them because they are dangerous to health. And this nicotine is used as insecticide. And the next one is morphine or cocaine, and it is obtained from the fruits of Papaver somniferum, opium tree. So it is found in the fruits of Papaver somniferum and it uses as a painkiller. And the next one is ricipine. Ricipine means it is the roots of Rauwolfia serpentina. That means snake root. Generally we will call those plants as snake root and it is Rauwolfia serpentina and the ricipine is present in the roots of this plant and this is the medicine for snake bite. The next alkaloid is caffeine which we will get from the coffee plant, that is Coffea arabica. Coffea arabica is the scientific name of coffee plant and generally caffeine we get from the seeds and this caffeine stimulates the central nervous system. Our central nervous system gets stimulated if you take caffeine. Hence people like to drink coffee. The next alkaloid is nimbin. Nimbin we get from the plant neem tree, that is Azadirachta indica. It is from seeds, bark and leaves of the neem tree and it is used as antiseptic. Next secondary alkaloid is scopolamine. It is from Datura stramonium and it is from fruits and flowers of Datura stramonium and it is used as a sedative. That means it promotes or induces sleep. The next alkaloid is pyrethroids. It is from the flowers of chrysanthemum species, that is chamanthi, and it used as insecticide. That is all about alkaloids. Now coming to the tannins. Tannins are carbon compounds. These are stored in different parts of the plant and are deep brown in color. Tannins are used in tanning. What do you mean by tanning? Tanning is the process of treating skin and hides of animals to produce leather. So these tannings are used in leather industry and in medicines. Example, cassia and acacia. Next secondary metabolite is resins. Occur mostly in gymnosperms in specialized passages called resin passages. Gymnosperms are the plants which do not bear flowers. Example, pinus, and these resins are used in varnishes. And varnish is a liquid coating material containing the resins that dries to a hard transparent film. It provides a protective coating for wooden surfaces, paintings and various decorative objects made up of wood. And coming to the gums, plants like neem and acacia oozes out a sticky substance called gums when branches are cut. The gum swells by absorbing water and help in the healing of damaged part of the plant. In this way, the gums are useful to the plant. They help in the healing of damaged parts. Whereas gums are economically valuable and uses as adhesives and binding agents in the preparation of medicines, food, etc. And the last secondary metabolite is latex. Latex is a sticky, milky white substance secreted by plants. Latex is stored in the latex cells or latex vessels. From the latex of Hevia brasiliensis, that is rubber plant, rubber is prepared. So its scientific name is Hevia brasiliensis and this rubber is used to make the tires of all vehicles. And latex from Jatropha and the seeds of Jatropha are the sources of biodiesel. These are the sources of biodiesel. The latex and the seeds of Jatropha are the sources of biodiesel. That is all about the secondary metabolites in plants. So, let's have a quick summary of today's topics. Today we have studied excretion and secondary metabolites in plants. That's all for today. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.